everyone, welcome back to my class. This is Rumana Ali. Let us talk about the meiosis. Meiosis is a process by which the reproductive cells are divided, and the meiosis is also called as reductional division because the daughter cells which are formed by the process called meiosis shows the half of the number of chromosomes to that of the parent cells. So it is called as reductional division, as the reduction of the number of chromosomes takes place in this type of cell division. Okay, meiosis occurs in two phases, that are meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. After the cell becomes ready for the cell division, it enters into the first stage, which is called as prophase 1. In the prophase 1, the chromosomes splits longitudinally and the pairing of the chromosomes takes place, which is the difference between the prophase of mitosis and the prophase 1 of meiosis. In the mitosis, there will be no pairing of chromosomes, but here in the prophase 1, the pairing of the chromosomes takes place and the nuclear membrane disappears. After the disappearing of the nuclear membrane, the spindle fibers are attached to the centromere of the chromosomes and it enters into the metaphase 1. So, in the metaphase 1, the spindle fibers attached to the centromere of this chromosomes and the chromosomes lined up at the equator. They come at the equator. So, when the chromosomes lined up at the equator and the spindle fibers attaches to the centromere, this phase is called as metaphase 1. And then anaphase 1 starts, and in this phase the spindle fibers contract the centromere of the chromosomes, and due to this contraction the centromere divides and the chromosomes moves apart and they come at the opposite poles. So, in the anaphase we can see that the division of the centromere takes place and the chromosomes becomes apart from each other and they move to the opposite poles. Then after this phase, it enters into the telophase 1, and here in this stage the nucleus divides, the division of the nucleus takes place, and inside the nucleus the chromosomes are present. The chromosomes moves into their nucleus, and after the division of the nucleus, a constriction or the furrow can be seen, and due to this constriction, this cell can be divided into two daughter cells. So, here after the telophase 1, the cell division takes place, results in the formation of two daughter cells, and these two daughter cells again undergo meiosis 2, and this meiosis 2 also shows the different stages that you are going to study about the different stages of meiosis 2 in your further studies. So, this meiosis 2 is similar to that of the mitosis, and after the division of these two daughter cells, it results in the formation of four daughter cells. But here what is the difference between the meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 is, meiosis 1 is carried out after the meiosis 1, the parent cell divides into two daughter cells, and these two daughter cells shows the same number of chromosomes as that of the parent cell. After the meiosis 2, the number of the chromosomes becomes half and the cell division takes place. In the process meiosis, the cell division occurs twice, but the chromosomal division, the division of the chromosomes takes place only once. Therefore, we can see that the four daughter cells shows the half of the number of the chromosomes in their nucleus. So, this is about the process meiosis, which divides the reproductive cells and which results in the formation of four daughter nuclei with half of the number of the chromosomes. तो अभी बात करेंगे हम meiosis. meiosis भी एक ऐसा प्रोसेस है जिससे सेल्स डिवाइड हो सकते हैं, लेकिन ये वाले प्रोसेस से सिर्फ रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल्स ही डिवाइड हो सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल्स यानी स्पर्म्स इन मेल्स और ओवा और एग सेल्स इन फीमेल्स. तो स्पर्म सेल्स को जब भी डिवाइड होना रहता है तब ये meiosis प्रोसेस हमारी बॉडी में होता है. ठीक है, तो रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल्स का डिवीजन meiosis प्रोसेस के जरिए से ही होगा, और इसको हम रिडक्शनल डिवीजन भी कहते हैं क्योंकि ये प्रोसेस से हमारे जो क्रोमोसोम्स है वो हाफ हो जाते हैं यानी रिड्यूस हो जाते हैं, इसके लिए इसको हम बोलेंगे रिडक्शनल डिवीजन. अभी ये meiosis दो स्टेजेस बताता है, meiosis 1 और meiosis 2. meiosis 1 की और 4 फेज होते हैं जिसको हम बोलेंगे प्रोफेज 1, मेटाफेज 1, एनाफेज 1 एंड टेलोफेज 1. प्रोफेज 1 में ये जो क्रोमोसोम्स है वो पेयर्ड अप होते हैं, यानी क्रोमोसोम्स की पेयरिंग होती है और न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन जो प्रेजेंट होता है वो डिसअपियर हो जाता है। इसके बाद फिर मेटाफेज स्टार्ट हो जाएगा और ये मेटाफेज में क्रोमोसोम्स जो है वो इक्वेटर के साइड पे आ जाएंगे, यानी बीच में आ जाएंगे, और फिर ये जो स्पिंडल फाइबर्स है ये सेंट्रोमियर को अटैच हो जाएंगे। जैसा कि हमने पढ़ा है माइटोसिस में, इसी तरह से ये स्पिंडल फाइबर सेंट्रोमियर को अटैच हो जाएंगे। इसके बाद में ये सेंट्रोमियर को स्पिंडल फाइबर क्या करेंगे, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे, जिसकी वजह से वो जो भी पेयर थे क्रोमोसोम्स वो अपार्ट हो जाएंगे, यानी अलग हो जाएंगे और ऑपोजिट पोल्स की तरफ मूव हो जाएंगे, और इसको हम बोलेंगे एनाफेज 1। जैसा ही ये ऑपोजिट पोल्स की तरफ मूव हो जाएंगे क्रोमोसोम्स, यहाँ पर हमें एक कॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन नजर आएगी, एक फरो नजर आएगा, जिससे सेल डिवाइड हो जाएगा। न्यूक्लियस डिवाइड होने के बाद में ये कॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन अपीयर होगा और फिर ये कॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन की वजह से एक सेल 2 सेल्स में डिवाइड हो जाएगा और यहाँ पर 2 डॉटर सेल्स फॉर्म हो जाएंगे। ये 2 डॉटर सेल्स फॉर्म होने के बाद में मियोसिस 2 होगा और ये मियोसिस 2 माइटोसिस प्रोसेस के जैसा ही होगा, जिसमें ये 2 सेल्स 4 डॉटर सेल्स में डिवाइड होंगे। लेकिन यहाँ पर डिफरेंस ये है कि यहाँ पर ये वाले सेल में 23 पेयर्स ऑफ क्रोमोसोम्स प्रेजेंट है, लेकिन ये स्प्लिट होगा 2 डॉटर सेल्स में, जिसके पास सिर्फ 23 पेयर्स क्रोमोसोम्स रहेंगे, यानी 23 क्रोमोसोम्स रहेंगे, 23 पेयर्स क्रोमोसोम्स नहीं रहेंगे। तो ये 2 सेल्स डिवाइड होंगे और 4 डॉटर सेल्स फॉर्म करेंगे और ये 4 डॉटर सेल्स में सिर्फ हाफ क्रोमोसोम्स प्रेजेंट रहेंगे, यानी सिर्फ 23 क्रोमोसोम्स प्रेजेंट रहेंगे। और ह्यूमन के जो रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल्स होते हैं उसमें हाफ ऑफ द क्रोमोसोम्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं, जो कि 23 क्रोमोसोम्स है, और जो रिमेनिंग सेल्स है, जो रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल्स नहीं है, जो वेजिटेटिव और सोमैटिक सेल्स है हमारी बॉडी के, वो सोमैटिक सेल्स में 46 क्रोमोसोम्स यानी 23 pairs of chromosomes present रहेंगे. So this is about the meiosis. Let us discuss about the topic reproductive health. Under this topic we are going to study about STDs, birth control methods, and also about fighting against social ills. So first we are going to discuss about STDs. Here STDs stand for sexually transmitted diseases. And these diseases are transmitted from one person to another person when the person comes in contact or when they intercross sexually, then that diseases can be transmitted from one person to another person. And here we can take the examples of syphilis, which is a sexually transmitted disease. HIV is also a sexually transmitted disease. So these are the diseases which are life-threatening. So to control these diseases, we need to follow some preventive measures. The preventive measures that needs to be followed include using physical barriers like condoms, and the preventive measure also includes the person should not intercross with the other person. There should be no sexual relationship between the two persons, then the sexual transmitted diseases can be controlled. The next one is birth control methods. To stop the birth of an unwanted child or to control the birth of an unwanted child, there are some methods like using pills. The pills can be used to control the birth of a child, and these pills are used to inhibit or to stop the fertilization of eggs by the sperm cells. So in this way these pills are used to control the birth. And the next one is we can use some physical barriers like condoms. These condoms are used to prevent or to stop the sexually transmitted diseases also, and also to control the birth of a child. The next one is copper T. Copper T is a physical barrier which is fixed into the uterus of a female in order to control the birth of a child. And here we can see the two processes, or we can say it as the minor surgeries like vasectomy and tubectomy. Vasectomy and tubectomy. Vasectomy is a process in which the ends of the vas deferens, which is a tube present in the male reproductive system, the cutting of the ends of the vas deferens is called as vasectomy, and the cutting of the ends of the fallopian tube which is present in the female reproductive system is called as tubectomy. So by these two processes the birth of a child can be controlled. These are some birth control methods which we can implement it in our life, but there are some side effects that can be seen by using or by attempting these methods. The last one is fighting against social ills. We know that in the present period there are many technologies developed, and by these technologies the doctors can be able to determine the sex of a child before their birth. So this sex determination can be done by the doctors, but some of the people with the bad intentions, if they come to know that the baby which is growing in the mother is female, then they are going for abortions, and that is called as female feticide. They are killing the child before its birth, and this is called as female feticides. Now, to stop this female feticide, the government has banned the sex determination, and it's a social responsibility of us to prevent this female feticide. So this is about the reproductive health, and we need to maintain our health, because if health is lost, then everything is lost. So here our topic reproductive health ends. Let us recall the lesson reproduction, the generating system. Reproduction is a biological process by which the parent cell can be able to give birth to the young ones, and giving birth to the young ones is called as reproduction. Reproduction is of two kinds. First one is asexual reproduction, and the second one is sexual reproduction. When we talk about the asexual reproduction, we have already discussed that there will be no fusion of gametes. Only the vegetative cells are taking part in carrying out the process of asexual reproduction. And this asexual reproduction is performed by certain microorganisms and also by certain living organisms, and also we can see the asexual reproduction in plants too. First, we will see some modes of asexual reproduction. The first one is fission. Fission is nothing but the splitting of a parent cell into two or into many offsprings. And here we can take an example of paramecium or some protozoans. Okay. The next one is budding. It is a process in which the parent cell shows some growth at its surface, which is called as protrusion, and that protrusion takes up the part of the nuclei from the parent cell and detaches from the parent cell and leaves in the environment. This type of reproduction is called as budding, and the fragmentation is also a type of asexual reproduction which can be performed by the tapeworms and by certain fungi. When we look at the structure of tapeworm, we can see that its body is made of some fragments, and each fragment is able to give rise to a new offspring. And the next one is spore formation. The reproduction can also be occur by the formation of spores. Here we can take the examples of yeast and also ferns. Ferns are the non-flowering plants which have some spores on its leaves, and that spores are helping in carrying out the process of reproduction. So this is about the asexual mode of reproductions that can be seen in the different living organisms. When we talk about the asexual reproduction in plants, then it is called as vegetative propagation. It is of two types: natural vegetative propagation and artificial vegetative propagation. Natural vegetative propagation is a process in which the vegetative parts like leaves, roots and stems are helping in generating new plants, and artificial vegetative propagation shows the processes like cutting, layering and grafting. Through these processes, the new plants can be grown. So this is about the vegetative propagation. When we talk about the sexual reproduction is a process in which both the male and the female gamete fuses, results in the formation of zygote. So here the male reproductive system shows the presence of male reproductive cells which are called as sperm cells, and the female reproductive system shows the presence of egg cells, or we can also say it as ova. These sperm cells, when fuses with the egg cells, it results in the formation of zygote, and after the cell division takes place, the zygote develops into an embryo, and this embryo grows into a fetus. After the gestation period, the birth of a child takes place. So this is about the sexual reproduction that occurs in the human beings. The sexual reproduction can also be seen in plants. Flower is the main reproductive part that helps in carrying out the process of sexual reproduction in many plants, and this flower shows male reproductive organs as well as female reproductive organs. Male reproductive organs are called as androecium and female reproductive organs are called as gynoecium. In the androecium, we can see the parts like stamen, pollen grains, anther and filament, and in the gynoecium, the parts like style, stigma and ovary is present. The pollen grains are the male reproductive cells. When this pollen grains attaches to the stigma, it forms a pollen tube and reaches to the embryo sac, and after the fertilization, the development of the embryo takes place. After the development of an embryo, the ovary develops into a fruit and ovule develops into a seed. And the main aspect of the sexual reproduction in plant is the production of seed. So as the seed is produced, the seed can be germinated into a new plant. This is about the sexual reproduction in plants. Let us talk about a topic, cell division, which we have already discussed. And the cell division is the main prospect for the growth and the development of the living organisms. The cell division can take place in two forms, that are mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is a process by which the cell divides, and this mitosis can be seen in the various parts of our body. Mitosis is a process in which the parent cell divides and give rise to the two daughter cells, and through this process the number of the chromosomes are equally distributed into two daughter cells. So here we can see that this parent cell contains 46 chromosomes, and after the interphase, when the chromosomes becomes doubled, it shows the presence of 92 chromosomes. And this parent cell, after undergoing the mitotic division, it results in the formation of two daughter cells, and these two daughter cells shows the presence of 23 pairs of chromosomes, that is 46 chromosomes. And in this way, this mitotic division helps the parent cell to divide into two daughter cells that contains the same number of the chromosomes as that of the parent cells. But when we talk about the meiosis, meiosis is a process which takes place to divide the reproductive cells. The reproductive cells can be divided by a process called meiosis. This parent cell contains 46 chromosomes. Each cell of our body contains 46 chromosomes, that is 23 pairs of chromosomes. But the reproductive cells like sperms and the egg cells, they contain 23 chromosomes. That is the reason the reproductive cells are called as haploid cells. And in the process of meiosis, the parent cell divides and it results in the formation of four daughter cells, and these four daughter cells shows the presence of 23 chromosomes, that is half of the number of chromosomes. When we see the parent cells, it contains 46 chromosomes, then after the division it becomes 92 chromosomes, and as it is resulting in the formation of four daughter cells, these four daughter cells shows the presence of half of the number of chromosomes. So this is about the mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis helps in the growth and in the regeneration of the cells. Meiosis helps in the production of reproductive cells. So with this, we have completed our lesson, reproduction, the generating system. Thank you.